Welcome to the programme. I'm Linda Hardy. The family of a transgender woman who killed herself after spending more than 1,000 days on a waiting list say she'd be alive today if she had received the necessary care. Today, a coroner investigating the death of Alice Litman from Brighton was highly critical of health authorities and the care she received in the run-up to her death. The coroner said there had been a half-hearted final offer of support. Alice's parents said they would continue to fight for change. Fiona Irving reports.
She was bold and brave, warm and kind. Alice Litman took her own life after waiting more than 1,000 days for an appointment with the Tavistock's Gender Identity Clinic. She had attempted suicide twice before and had been under the care of Surrey and Borders NHS Partnership Trust. But a system meant to care for Alice failed her.
I think when you put the services next to each other and each one is saying, well, it's not our responsibility, this risk should be managed by this other service, and they're all saying that, when you really get them lined up like that, it drives home how completely abandoned Alice was. And the coroner kept asking, well, if she wasn't supposed to turn to you, who was she supposed to turn to, and who was there to provide her with the care she needed?
Today the coroner delivered a narrative verdict into Alice's death, saying that her wait of nearly 3 years for a first appointment with the Gender Identity Service contributed to a decline in her mental health. She was also critical of the Surrey and Borders mental health services, saying their support of Alice was sporadic. The coroner will now write to NHS England and the trusts involved to highlight her concerns and try to prevent future deaths.
If you're referred to the Tavistock today, you're going to wait 20 years for a first appointment. That's, stunning. It doesn't compare to anything anywhere else in the NHS. And it's hard to ignore that. And we now have a report from the coroner saying that she thinks it's her statutory duty to ask them to act or other lives are at risk. That's very, very powerful. We would expect NHS England to take that very seriously, and obviously we'll be keeping an eye on it to make sure that they do.
After today's judgment, her family, who have tirelessly campaigned for better gender identity services, said they will continue to fight for transgender women like Alice.
What we've experienced in the last year and a half since she died has just been the most traumatic time of our lives. And we can't bear the thought of other people having to experience what we've experienced, but we know that they will. And we're driven to change the public view and to change the views in Whitehall.
One of the biggest changes that we really need is an attitude change. That she needed to be listened to and accepted for who she was, and then everything needed to start there, really.
A fight in their daughter and sister's name that they say needs to be won.
And Fiona joins us now live in Brighton. Fiona, what has the Surrey Health Trust had to say about being criticised by the coroner?
Well, Linda, after the coroner said she'll be raising a report to prevent future deaths, the Surrey and Borders NHS Partnership Trust issued a statement. In it, it says it will reflect carefully on the findings of that report and address the areas of concern that have been identified. It also says it recognises that there is much to learn about and then improve around transitions and care for people who are transgender. Alice's family say there have been other similar cases to Alice's where there have been future deaths, cases to prevent future deaths for similar cases to Alice's. So although this conclusion offers a glimmer of hope, they say we'll have to keep on fighting in Alice's name for better funding of services and for systemic change.
OK, Fiona in Brighton, thank you very much.